Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is set up your paper for the 1 and 2 point perspective. You can see I took a standard piece of paper, split it directly in half, and then we're going to use the top for 1 point perspective and the bottom for 2 point perspective. We're going to split this in half again, approximately, with a line, with your straight edge. You need a point in the center, that will be your vanishing point. And on this side, it will say horizon line. We're going to draw some shapes. So the first shape we're going to draw is a circle. We're going to do the very best you can. We're going to just hand draw these shapes. So it's okay if it's not perfect. A rectangle in the center, a triangle on the end, like this, a square, and an X. And if you need to pause the video while you finish up these shapes, you can go ahead and do that. Something like this. Oops. Okay. We're going to start with a circle. So all of these shapes are going to look like they come to this vanishing point. This is your eye line, which is also called the horizon line, where the sky meets the ground. Anything above that line is kind of like above your head, and how you would see it if it was up above your head. Everything down below is kind of like at your knees, and how you would see it from the level of your knees. So we're going to start with circle. We're going to line up the straight edge with the vanishing point and the edge of the circle. Here, draw a block. Remember, if your pencil is not sharp, you want to take that into consideration and draw your line so that it's precise. Okay. And do the same thing at the top. Line it up with the vanishing point and the edge of your circle, and draw the line. You can see this is a curved line, so if you have to mirror this same line between these two guidelines. So somewhere in here, you're going to mirror that line. Now you might have a nice smooth curve. Mine's a little droopy, so I'm going to come down a little bit first before I come to the side. And like this. And then I'm going to erase the extra. Now these are all solid shapes. So if we're looking at a solid shape right above our head, we would only see the bottom of that. So you're going to match the left and the right hand side with the vanishing point. You draw the lines. Okay. And we're going to, just like we had to mirror the line that came between these two guidelines, we have to mirror this line that comes between these two guidelines. It is a straight horizontal line, so you're going to line it up, drag it down a little bit, and draw another straight horizontal line, and erase the extra. All right, onto our triangle. Our triangle is a solid object, so we would only see these two sides that are closest to us and a vanishing point. That solid side we wouldn't see. So you're going to match up the top, this middle lower, and the lower left with the vanishing point. Okay. And then we're going to mirror this line. So that is a diagonal line. So what I do is I line up my line with that diagonal, and then I just use my hands to slide it over and draw the line. This is a straight horizontal line, so you're going to line it up the best you can, slide it down until it meets up with the line you just made, and draw it over. And in that shape, and erase the extra. Okay. Now for our square. Our square down here is solid, so you can't see these two sides. So again, we're going to, like our triangle, we're going to match up the top, the middle, and the lower left that's towards the vanishing point. Then I'm going to end them just like they do. So you'll notice this is an upside down L. So you're going to want that upside down L here in the back. So I line up my ruler with the original line, slide it out, draw the line. We'll do that again on the side. Line it up with the original angle, slide it over, draw the line. Now, other options for you, if you're not very good at that technique, is you can always line up the top of your ruler with the top of your paper. That will give you a pretty good idea of whether it's straight or not. Or here on the side of your paper as well. And the last one is the X. And then we're going to do some shading. So we're going to erase the extra here. You're going to want to do a nice job erasing. So when you write, try to write lightly, because light writing means less work for erasing. So for the X, you're going to line up each of these points with a vanishing point, including the inner sections. So all these outer sections and the inner sections. So the answer is, if it can line up directly from the edge to the vanishing point, it needs to be drawn, like this one. This inner one, if I line that up with the vanishing point, I will actually go through the shape. So there's no point in drawing it because I wouldn't see it. But this outer one can go directly to the vanishing point. This one to the vanishing point. Check these inner ones too, but that one would go right through the shape, so there was no point in drawing that. Here's one here. This one will go through the shape. This one goes through the shape. And even check this one. I know it seems strange, but depending on the angle in which you drew this, you might see a portion of it and have to draw a portion until it hits that shape. All right. Lastly, to end the shape, it has to look like an X in the back. So the easiest way to do that is to pick a dimension. So let's say, for instance, I pick 30 centimeters. I'm going to line up the 0, 30 centimeters, 30 millimeters. I'm going to line up the 0 with the X itself, measure down the line, and make a mark at 30. I'm going to do that for each one. Mark at 30. And mark at 30. And then you're going to mirror this line between these two guidelines with that angled line. And if you look, actually, the way I drew it, it goes right through and it's the same angle down here. So you really could match up these two and draw from here to here and from here to here. That might not work for you because it might not be a perfect angle. Okay? But if yours works like this, then you can just slide it down and draw the lines there. And then down here, we'll draw a line, then erase the extra. And all you have left to do is the shading. So I'm going to show you a picture of the shading and how it looks. And then you can go ahead and shade that in. Once it's shaded, you can take a picture of it and submit it in the 1 to 2 point perspective. Remember, when you're shading, all the tops are getting hit with light, so those are the lightest spots. And then for the gradation, gradually go to darkest, or if the bottom of an object is, if the top is being lit and the bottom is dark, so some of these areas are dark as well. And then I just did a medium gray color for the fronts. Just make sure that if it's medium gray, there's a different color for this side. Okay, so your square will end up having multiple, 3 different colors on it. That's more defined for you. All right, thank you.